Hello!
Hi, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Oh, we're doing this at 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's past our bedtime. Right?
Sorry about that.
I was gonna say, just gotta work. You know how it goes.
Some people gotta work, you know?
I know, it's weird. If I didn't have to, I wouldn't do it, but...
We're also curious to see how many people tune... Well, like, you know, what people are doing at different times around the world.
Well, you know, Orsi is watching this at 1 a.m.
Yes.
So props to her.
Dedication.
Orsi, Angela, this
Thank
is
you for
like...
being here.
Yeah.
Angela, this is like right after lunch for you, I think.
I know. Alright, let's start this.
Sorry, yeah, let's... Hey, Eric. Alright, let's get started.
Alright, so everyone, welcome to episode 38 of Behind the MasterMinds. And look who we have today.
You have the Enigma Emporium
in the house.
Yes.
Before we formally introduce our guests, let's draw our raffle winner from Modern Treasure Hunt game.
Yeah, and remember, it's winner's choice. You have the choice of the VOC Treasure or the new one, which is Mysteries of Alchemy. So if you already played one,
you can choose the other one.
Yeah. So here we go. Drum roll.
Ooh. Karen Kate.
Karen K. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Karen,
That new one looks
what are you gonna do?
really good.
If you're on, type it in.
Yeah. Oh, and also, if you're interested in purchasing any of their games, the code 20% off is still available until March 1st.
March 1st, yeah.
So let's give that to the audience. But if you want to get the extra 5% off, then go watch the video and solve the puzzle for 25% off.
Yeah, make sure you
it's not making it easy. That's all I have to say.
Check out episode 36 and you'll find something hidden in there. Check check the edited version because I made it a little bit easier.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice of you. Well, the Enigma Emporium has also generously offered our audience with a discount through the end of February. You can use MasterMind for 10% off on any of their games ordered through their website.
Yeah, all right.
There's that code.
And they have a decent amount of games to choose from. So
yeah, like a lot. Like we've been not sleeping for the past 3 days, kind of.
We dedicated this whole week to Enigma Emporium as a lead up to our interview with you.
Oh my goodness! All right.
So we're gonna start making the introductions because we need to announce who these fabulous people are.
Yeah.
So we have Khiara Floss and Logan Giannini.
Giannini is close enough. Giannini.
Okay, we have Khiara Floss and Logan Giannini are the owners, managers, and designers of the Enigma Emporium. Khiara created Carter Rouge, Trial by Cypher, and a couple of other projects that they can't give us details on. Well, we do know that Khiara juggles day-to-day operations alongside game designing, as well as web development, production layouts, shipping coordination, and graphics.
Who has one job these days?
Yeah, I know. While Logan, he also created Puzzle Postcards Series 1, Predator or Prey, Wish You Were Here, The Blowback, Parabola, and the Copycat Files, Migratory Patterns, Cryptic Cryptids, Veritas, and their upcoming game, which is Funny Pages. And we'll get to that a little bit later.
Sure. Everybody's very excited to find out what that's about.
Yes. And Logan covers most of their customer relations while producing prolific quantities of puzzles, along with coordinating playtesting, managing contractors, company branding, and the most important thing, social media presence.
Yeah. The customer relations is probably the hardest. It's like, please give me your solutions and right now. Like, at 3 a.m., give it to me.
Luckily, I'm up a lot and I get it all on my phone, and so far anyway, it's not so overwhelming that we can't usually be right on it when somebody writes to the Enigma Emporium Facebook page or the email address. Like, sometimes I'm half awake and I see it on my phone, I'm like, here's the answer, here you go. Back to sleep.
No wonder we got a peculiar response. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so let's get our first question out the way. Let's talk about background. Before starting with your adventure with the Enigma Emporium, were you working at other companies as game designers?
So, funny story there. I have done some game design stuff off and on. Like, back if we're going 6-7 years ago, I worked for a company that both was a retail-facing game company and they produced some stuff in-house, and I did some stuff for them. But about 5 years ago now, I got into escape rooms, which you know all about. So I got into escape room management and design. So basically, there was a company that I did not own, but I ran the company, I designed the rooms, all that good stuff. And Khiara worked there with me for good 3 years, I want to say, 2.5.
Yeah.
Chiara was actually my assistant manager there for a while.
Okay.
I think that was one of our next questions.
Yeah, we're
'cause
going to
I was
ask,
very curious.
how did the two of you meet?
Yeah, exactly.
But don't answer yet. We're almost there.
So I mean that was kind of my next question because I was wondering how you guys knew each other and what inspired you to create the Enigma Emporium together.
Well, before that second part, Chiara, do you want to tell the story of the first day we met and what that was like there?
Yes, it's a brief anecdote. So I was in between jobs and just looking for something that seemed suitable. I had a heavy customer service background, and so I wanted something continuing with that, working with people. And I was browsing on Craigslist, and there was this ad for an escape room. I'm like, what's an escape room? And I do a little looking. I'm like, okay, those are an actual thing. And I, sent in my resume and got a call for the interview. I'm like, oh, awesome. I'll go to that. And I show up to the building the interview's in, and it's this huge warehouse building that looks like maybe half furnished, like it's in process of being worked on. There are no other businesses in it. Wow. And I'm sitting in the parking lot looking at this building, and I message a friend. I'm like, hey, this is
two cars in the parking lot, right? Like two cars.
It wasn't like entirely sketchy. There were other cars, sure, yeah. And like right by downtown Minneapolis, so not out in the sticks or anything. Right. So I messaged a friend just like, hey, I have an interview and it seems legitimate, but it's a
just
little weird.
Just in case, I'm going to text you my number. Where the location. I share my location now.
Yeah. The brings me to a question that I have, but I'm going to save it for the end in case we run out of time. So, because I am curious about something.
That just kind of feels like the start of that escape room movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I did my best to avoid that feeling. So the escape room business was located in the basement. So you walked in and we had the basement level. So you had to go down these super sketchy stairs to get there. And at the time, nothing was built. I was trying to get my staff hired, but it was this empty concrete basement that looked like the start of a murder movie. So I hauled a little card table up to the main hallway, which was the only part of the building that looked nice at the time, and was like, I'm going to have my interviews here so my applicants don't think I'm going to murder them. So we sat just right inside the entrance for the interview. I don't even think I showed you the basement that day.
No.
Just turn around and
want to work there.
Yeah.
Basically, you just described almost every single entrance to an escape room in Budapest. You have to go downstairs.
The escape room was running. It was great. Like, people would come down, they'd be a little nervous, then they'd come around the corner, and they'd see this lovely escape room. They'd be like, oh, okay, I'm in the right spot. But when it was an empty basement, it was more of a, oh, I'm just making sure there's no plastic on the ground.
That's a great story.
So Eric Ackley says he can't wait to start season 2 of Puzzle Postcards. Season 1 is an all-time favorite of his.
Yay!
Thank you, Eric.
And we have a lot of people in here that they look like they're Enigma Emporium fans, but we'll get to that. Oh, Karen, I think Karen made her decision and she's gonna choose the VOC Treasure, but
we'll see.
We'll confirm that.
So I mean, he's gonna say like I'm gonna read his questions. So here we go.
Yeah,
he has dedicated questions that he wants.
Because I have questions that I want to address because I'm very curious. So the next one is: we know your first series was created with the help of Kickstarter, and so was your second. Did it get easier a second time around? And what are some valuable lessons that you can share with our audience?
Do you want to start on that one?
So to date, we have run actually numerous different campaigns. Our campaign just Wish You Were Here. The second one was the sequel for Wish You Were Here, as well as Copycat Files. Then we ran a campaign for Carte Rouge, and then a campaign for all of Series 2, all in one bundle. And that first campaign, we definitely had some ideas about how it was going to go, and it didn't go most of those ways. In a lot of ways, it went better than we were expecting. Yeah.
Right.
And it definitely has gotten easier as we've done it more times over, but I think that we complicate it for ourselves because we're like, oh, so this worked really well, but we could make it work even better if we tweaked these things and did this and that. And it's a whole new thing by the end of that tweaking process, and we're trying something fresh.
And you're always looking around, you're looking at all the other Kickstarters going, oh, well, that looks like it's working really well. I love the way this looks. And it's very hard to stick to a formula because you want to keep it fresh. You want to keep it new. And I think the biggest thing I would say to anybody looking to kickstart, and this is usually Kickstarter producers' #1 recommendation, is bring your audience. The thing that I think we did that I'm so happy we did is we started we incorporated, or not incorporated, we formed our LLC maybe 10 months before the Kickstarter. We started posting content on the Facebook page 6 months. Like, just that weekly puzzle that had nothing to do with the Kickstarter, but just giving value to people to come and follow us and see what we're doing. That made a huge difference, because then there were people day one who wanted to come check out this project. Kickstarter used to be, 8 or 9 years ago, you could get on there, it was a small enough platform that people would just cruise Kickstarter and find stuff and go, that looks cool, and back it. For games now, puzzle games and board games, it's too big, it's huge. You have to bring your audience with you. Yeah. Kickstarter doesn't do the work for you anymore. Sadly, it was an easier time back then.
Right, yeah.
So I'm guessing like the valuable lesson is like build your audience first through some sort of, interesting...
Very much so, and don't wait till the last minute. A month is not enough. Start. Give yourself months and months. The more time you can, the better it'll go for you. There's not a too much time.
That's true.
That's some valuable advice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So while creating these puzzles during your sleepless nights of brainstorming ideas, were there any fun or memorable stories to tell?
They all kind of blur together at this point. It's one of those things, I think, and you can tell me, Khiara, how this was received on your end. My design process is all over the place. I'm not super organized. There are good moments where I will lose my own cipher. So I'll have something built, and I'll go, what was this? How does this work again? And I'll have to go to somebody who's playtested or go to Khiara and be like, do you remember? Did I tell you about this? What is this? And there'll be times where I'll do nothing for a week. And then, like, during the postcard games, I'll knock out a whole postcard in a night. Be like, here, Khiara, look at this. Look at how this is going. And I'm a pest when I'm designing.
This is when you need 2 Logans, right?
But
one is too much.
Yeah, I totally understand though. Like when you said that you get lost in your own cipher, because we get lost like through all of them.
Well, when you said you set aside this week for it, I don't know if that's enough time. So one of our goals going into this,
big, like eye bags. Can you see them right now? Okay.
I apologize for that. That is my fault. We wanted to give people something that would take them a ton of time. Like, everything we had played up to that point, you played it usually an hour and a half, you were done. Because at that point, it was, some unlocks, some exits, some deadbolt games that were super fun. But we kind of looked at each other and went, well, can we give people something for the same price that'll take them 10 hours to solve? And it doesn't take everybody 10 hours. Like, your mileage will vary. But it takes a while. And if you're not expecting that, it's a little bit of a shock to the system going, wait, how have we been at this 2 hours and we're only 2/5 of the way through it? That's not right. And it is. It's absolutely right. It's supposed to take that long.
Yeah.
And anything else to add there, Khiara? Any funny stories? Was there any cheap spots on some of the designs? Because I've seen some coffee stains for sure.
I think that kind of playing off what Logan said, playtesting is one of my favorite parts of doing design in general, and I think it's more for how surprised I am sometimes on the directions that people take with the information they're presented. Like, you give someone the periodic table and they start looking into the atomic weights when what you wanted them to look at was, the letter notations. And you're like, oh, that's a good idea, though. We could work with that. Like, I can make a puzzle out of that. Hold on for a second. And it really informs and ties back into that base design process in a way that I wouldn't have foreseen until I started doing it.
Yeah. It's always funny to experience how other people's minds work when you think that they're gonna think about something and all of a sudden it just goes off in a whole nother direction.
Yeah. And also for experience plays, I always feel like we always overthink things, and then when I look back, I'm like, damn it was just that.
Yeah.
Like, why did I just multiply the steps 10 times just to get there? I'm like, oh, if it was designed this way, that would have been kind of cool, but that would have been 2 times the torture.
Yeah. well, I don't feel so bad. Angela said it takes her a month. So.
but she's enjoying it with wine and taking
she's
time.
Definitely enjoying it.
Yeah, we're
Honestly, nothing makes me happier than when people are like, yeah, we got, the family together, we played it every night this week.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite thing to hear. I love that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then Karen says she loves the weekly puzzles. Thank you for doing them. And or she's kind of on the same page here. She's waiting for some hints to come out. So far, she's only managed to solve one of the pages.
That's for the funny pages.
Yeah.
One that we're going to
get
talk about.
too.
Yeah. Here we go. We're still waiting for you.
We're still number 5. I'm sorry. Yeah. All right, so number 5. I didn't play Think or Drink before this. Don't worry, I swear. All right, so let's talk about your postcard games first, because we're going to get to the funny pages.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these are not your typical escape room types of puzzles, and we should know. Most of them are different ciphers and quite challenging. There are some of them that we had to learn along the way while playing your games. And since there are some points where you don't actually reveal solutions to the players, I'm sure you've gotten some SOS types of emails saying but what has been some of the most creative clue begging emails that you've seen besides ours? I feel like we were on the verge of bribing Logan at one point when we needed a hint on that bonus card in Series 1. So what are some of the most creative requests that you've gotten?
Oh gosh! If you have one, Kiara, go ahead. I'm trying to remember some of my favorites.
I remember getting an email about Carte Rouge this last spring. So we fulfilled Carte in March of last year, right after all of the lockdown restrictions in Minnesota started kicking in. It was very exciting, but it was like 2 or 3 days after I'd gotten packages out, and I got an email about Carte Rouge, and I was like, oh, like I figured that, this is someone wondering where their package is at. No, it had arrived, and they sat down and played it that night and stayed up the entire night. Wow. And they had a few questions and wanted a little help with some stuff, but it was this very laid out, nice notes about how they'd solve specific cards and specific questions about specific ciphers. It was wonderful. I was very, very appreciative of that email.
Yeah.
Okay, so mine is a counterpoint to that lovely email. I remember one particular person, and I don't remember who it was. This was a long time ago, and my guess is they'd been playing a lot of puzzles and their brain was a little fried. Because they sent this very aggressive email saying, hey, this puzzle is broken. I even looked at the clue page and it says you're supposed to rotate by this number, and it doesn't work. And they were rotating the wrong direction.
Oh.
Because you could rotate 2 ways, which I, as gently as possible, pointed out. And I never heard back. And like I said, I'm assuming they had just been working through it, and they were just shot and they needed some sleep. But it was a very aggressive email, and those are the ones that always surprise me. There are a lot of, hey, this is broken. And then we come back as nicely as possible, which is usually my job, and go, well, actually, it's this that I don't think you've considered. And 9 times out of 10, again, we don't hear back. But it's amazing how when you're puzzle solving, I do the same thing. Your brain locks onto, it should be this way. It must be something wrong with the puzzle. And then it just takes that moment of stepping back, going, oh, if I look at it from this angle, oh, it's that. I'm an idiot. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except I'm an idiot all the time.
Yeah, his brain must have just reached breaking point. It was just...
Well, if you puzzle like how we did, with nonstop.
Wait, is he talking about us?
No.
I will say, for anybody who's wondering, so with Wish You Were Here, we have the tiered hint system, but the solution on those pages usually just tells you how to do it. It doesn't actually give you the plain text answer, which I think you were running into a little bit, and other people have. From that point on, I believe all of the game's hint pages, when you get to the solution, it actually gives you a solution in most cases. So if you want to you're like, okay, I've got this, let's just skip to the end, you can now, because that was something people asked for. So Wish You Were Here still doesn't have that, because that was the first one, but we have improved on that system.
Yeah, I guess it's mainly because if you worked on it for so many hours, you would want to see some sort of ending. To have kind of conclusive, and
they all have that. They all have that in story, not on the hints page. If you're solving through everything, you will get to a conclusion for all of them except the copycat files.
Yeah.
That's right.
By the way, Anuj says your creations are rewarding, but quite challenging as well. Totally agree.
Yeah. And if you think you're an expert at deciphering codes, decipher this.
Wait. I'm going to add a little something to this.
Oh,
so we're not just going to give away the phrase.
This always happens.
We'll give you a phrase, but whoever solves it first and types it in the comment, I will dedicate one of my shots during Think a Drink to you. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So decipher this and type in the secret phrase. Here, reveal your secret phrase because it's not really a secret phrase. Go ahead.
Bam! All right. First person to type it in, my shot is dedicated to you later.
But that's not the secret phrase that you have to type. You have to decipher the secret.
Oh, yeah. No,
Okay.
don't just type
that.
Where's my decoding bookmark when I need it?
Yeah. To have a chance to win their Puzzle Pulse Series 2 Cycle of Learning game.
Yeah.
It'll be a nice shift to go from Puzzle 1 to 2.
Yeah, you have 4 games in that pack.
Did you hear the hints that I just gave?
Yeah.
Because I'm nice and you're not.
Yeah.
And if you played one before, I don't know how, I don't want to make it any more clear than that. So they will ship the winner for free to anywhere within the US, but
I
international.
solved it. I've got it. Dude, can I win?
I'll ship it to my show. Yeah.
I said no. She's like, no.
Yeah.
You don't have any spare ones.
Yeah. But for international players, make sure that you know that you're responsible for your own shipping fees because they are a small business, so it's very nice that they're doing this.
Yeah, and remember, 4 games in this pack. The series 2.
4 cards, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And a bookmark.
Oh.
And a book number, sorry.
Oh, wow.
And you'll be
I
lucky.
love those
That's
3 months.
actually very useful.
There you go. Thank you for showing that. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, Anuj,
Dedication.
you're getting a shot dedicated to you later. Did you have his bookmark with you? Because I think.
Bravo.
All right. So,
with that said, will you eventually reveal like some of the answers like to passwords to the website, like the final ones, or would you rather like the players email you for hints? Where can players get help? Do you guys have a Discord or Facebook group, like kind of?
So again, from Wish You Were Here is kind of the exception here. With Wish You Were Here, we opted to not give the final answers because we didn't want people to accidentally click it and not be able to take it back. Mm-hmm. And that was a mistake on our part. It turned out people wanted the opportunity to just see the final answer. So everything from past Wish You Were Here, all the other, 8 or 9 games at this point, all have the answers on our hints page on the EnigmaEmporium.com. Okay. So if you just want to see like, hey, what is this solved to, you can go there and get that for sure.
Nice. Okay, great.
There's a lot of information that you packed into these postcards. Sometimes I feel like we just got like a full lesson in history or mythology or something. Yeah. Did you both also have to Google this information to, implement it into the games and the puzzles? And also, do the themes come first and then you work around the narrative, then implement the puzzles? Like, what is your design process?
You go first because we're going to have very different answers to that, I think.
Okay.
Oh gosh. All right. Let's see. Design process overall, I definitely have to Google things. I am not a well of knowledge. I am not an encyclopedia, as convenient as that would be. And so I do spend a lot of time hopping like Wikipedia page to Wikipedia page. And as far as whether theme comes first or puzzle comes first, it kind of depends on what I'm working with. Sometimes a puzzle will just spring to mind that ties in perfectly with the theme I'm already working with. Sometimes that's a lot more work and I have to go and dig through and be like, okay, what actually fits with what I'm trying to do here? Mm-hmm. Logan.
No, that actually, okay, we're not as different as I thought. I would say, yeah, my design process kind of goes both ways. I usually go into it having an idea, what the game is going to be about and how, I'm just going to speak about the postcards here because that's most of what I've produced to this point. Each game kind of has its own internal story, but usually within that, I've given each card its own defining theme. Sometimes they're a little looser, sometimes they're a little more tightly knit, but usually that gives me a direction to go for, as well as helping the player know, well, hey, if I've got to look stuff up, I kind of know where I'm looking. And, sometimes, as Khiara said, you'll just have that puzzle where you're like, oh, this goes with the periodic table. Easy, done. And sometimes you're researching, chemicals and, Dmitry Mendeleev, and something just slipped into place that you didn't even know, where you go, oh, this is perfect. I can make a puzzle out of this. So as long as you kind of have that nucleus of here's what the theme is of the card or the game, it'll go both ways. It'll go puzzle to story or story to puzzle. Yeah, kind of all over.
Sounds like some of your research actually was found accidentally from searching other stuff.
All the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All the time. I mean, no, it's all planned, and we're very smart, I swear.
Nice going, yeah.
I very regularly have friends reach out at very odd hours, like 3 in the morning, and just send me a link to like a Wikipedia article about specific kinds of cows raised in a certain county. Like, you could probably make a puzzle out of this. Like, oh yeah, I could. Thank you.
Next game for sure, cows. Yeah, because I feel like because of the way that you structure the design, for players, it actually becomes easier for them as well once they know how your game is to be played. Because when we first started with the game, I was like so lost. I had no idea what's going on.
What is going on right now?
And slowly, as you're playing through it, first box is done. Then second box, you're like right away, I know. Kind of like how this works now.
Yeah, we knew what we needed to have for each postcard, and then it just became more of a
lesson. Is I mean, it does get easier, guys. So just hang in. That's all I'm saying.
But I think that's most games. When you kind of get what you're looking for, or you know what the to-do list is, then you start checking it off. Then I think the process is a little bit smoother moving forward.
Yeah,
and every designer designs completely differently too. So as you're diving into one of our games, not only do we throw you in the deep end. They're made to kind of send you in blind. Yeah. So it's not, hey, here's what to expect. It's just, hey, here's postcards. Figure something out. But as you're going, you're learning how we think and how we design. And fortunately, unfortunately, it makes our games easier, but it gets you in a completely different mindset. As soon as you go play somebody else's game, you got to learn their language, and it's a very odd thing.
Right.
Take a little break and ask Orsi has a question.
Orsi has a question. She wants to know how many of the things you learned from the puzzles do you actually remember down the line?
10%, maybe?
Oh, I'd put it a little higher.
That sounds like we're going to get them really bad during the Think or Drink segment.
Well, I remember a lot in context of the puzzles, and there are moments where you don't even realize what's rattling around in your attic, where I'll be at a trivia night or something, in the olden days when you could still go to trivia night, and something will come up and I'll be like, oh, I know this because I used it for a puzzle, and my friends are just looking at me like, you're the weirdest person I know, but I'm glad we're getting this point.
Right, so it's not like at the surface, it's somewhere in there.
Exactly.
That is so true. That's what happened when we were watching trivia night the other night. I was like, I got this because I was playing that game and it was
It does happen. News wants to know, how do you go through your process figuring out how to condense something into one postcard? Keeping it in or out, like when it's done, like how do you decide?
And we've both designed postcard games, so we probably approach it differently. I usually just kind of shoot for a rough number of puzzles. I don't want to overwhelm people, and I also want there to be plenty of value. So I usually kind of aim for a median across the game so that as you start a new card, like, hey, I've got 4 to 6 things to solve here, and then I can move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I started designing postcards much later than Logan did. We already had many out once I hopped in and started doing that. And so working on Trial by Cipher, I took a lot of notes on what Logan had done already, and the other games follow a pretty consistent structure, give or take, where each card is going to give you certain set pieces of information to progress the story. And so I assigned myself puzzles based on the set information I knew each postcard needed to yield. And if it took, 3 puzzles to give one of those pieces of information, then there would be 3 puzzles for it. But if I only needed one, I only needed one.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's true. I mean, it's very, clearly thought out, and you guys definitely have your own takes on it.
By the way, just to name drop, the trivia that she was talking about earlier, we've been addicted to The Chase on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible show.
The Beast.
Yeah, The Beast Inside the Chase.
Yeah, that's a fun show.
Check it out.
So, I mean, we're talking about postcards. Do you guys see yourselves creating a Series 3 to the postcards?
Yes.
Probably.
Don't know when. So we weren't even supposed to do Series 2. Like, behind the scenes spoiler, Series 2 was not really on the docket. Definitely not for 2020.
Really?
It was supposed to be Funny Pages. That was mostly designed. That was going to be a spring Kickstarter. And then COVID happened. Everything got turned upside down. And we just kind of looked at each other and went, well, I don't know how this is going to shake out in terms of manufacturing overseas, in terms of shipping to us, in terms of shipping back to customers. Just too many unknowns for kind of our first big project. And we just kind of decided, let's put this on hold. what are we going to do? And the postcards were something I loved doing them. I had a really good time with Series 1. So I just pitched, like, hey, let's do a series of these. You'll have fun doing it. I hope you had fun doing it. But Series 2 surprised us. That was not intended to be 2020. Series 3 might be a similar thing where the fates align and we go, hey, this is the perfect time for Series 3. Let's do this now.
Right. Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens.
It's one of those hidden ones we don't know.
So, I know you wanted to talk about your new project, as we were just mentioning, Funny Pages. What is that all about? Like, the name already sounds intriguing to us. And will there be a lot of laughter incorporated into the puzzles and narratives? And we'd love to also hear about the inspiration behind this idea.
Well, first, Khiara, Khiara has been working tirelessly this last month on the pre-press for it. Okay. So, do you want to talk about how, because it was kind of fresh to you. I had designed it.
That's true.
What was your reaction to finally getting into it?
Yeah, so brief side note before I delve into that. Logan and I usually design in such a way that the other person has not had much, if any, access to the product until it's at least in a rough draft form, and then we pass it over and go play this.
Okay.
So that the first set of eyes on it is the other person, and we don't have to go through all of that base explanation of, hey, I have this idea, this is the loose story, da-da-da-da-da. They know all that already and can tell us if proof of concept is good. And so I ended up playing Funny Pages at this point about 2 months ago. And it is full designed. It went through our playtesting group, and I was the final set of eyes on it. It was a lot of fun. The comics are really, really bright. The puzzles are at times very nail-biting. It's like, it's right there. I know it's right there. There's not that much information. Why am I not seeing this? And then you see it and you're like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. And the punchlines are good. Logan did a great job. I really love the artist that we had do this. Alexander, what's his last name?
Jovic.
I feel bad. Thank you. And his art is really, really lovely. It's bright and colorful, a lot of fun, and overall, I'm really excited for this project. It's also going to be a much more intensive project from like a production standpoint. It's going to be a nice big box full of fancy prints, little bits and bobs. There's going to be a fresh new cipher bookmark to go with it. It's going to be great.
I also think we made a concerted effort to make it a little bit more welcoming than our previous game. So we were talking about throwing people in the deep end. This is not going to do that. This is designed to potentially exist on a game store shelf, where you can walk up to it, pick it up, look at the back, it'll tell you what it's about, it'll tell you how it's going to play. There will be a manual with it that will introduce you to the game. It'll introduce new players to, hey, here's the kind of puzzling you're going to have to do. I did a whole week's worth of demo puzzles, both for social media previews. Most of them are available to see on the Funny Pages Facebook page, but also for this manual. So you can actually see puzzles, see comics broken down in the manual, and just kind of get you in that mindset before you're thrown in. Mm-hmm. Additionally, for the very first time, you'll have all the hints will be there with you. So we're doing a really cool thing that Khiara did such a good job with, where each comic will have its own page in there somewhere where it'll give you your tiered hints and it'll give you the solution. But it will do that two ways. You'll have a rotated version of the hint. So if you just want to manually, unrotate it, you can do that completely offline with the bookmark you're given. Or, and I know these are controversial, each one will have an accompanying QR code. So if you have your phone on you, boom, you just point it, you've got your hint. And that'll all be printed for you in the manual so you can play it offline, which we're super excited about.
I'd rather earn my hint.
I mean, you're welcome to. You can go the long route. And we felt like enough people liked or disliked one or the other that why not include both?
Yep. And I believe we're planning on having all those same hints online as well. So 3 formats by which you can get your hints if you feel so inclined.
That sounds more like don't bother us anymore. You'll get your stuff on your own now.
Yeah.
Grow up, kids. It's time.
It's time to let go. I have to stop holding your hand.
Yeah. So I thought you said you wanted to show some.
Do you have any examples for us?
I don't have anything printed.
Okay.
Do you have printed, Logan?
I don't have anything in my house right now because of the move.
Yes.
I'm in a very empty room.
Hopefully we'll be able to put something in the edited version if you guys are able to send something over. So,
Oh yeah. We will send you folks some stuff.
Oh, sorry.
Yep. And like I said, I think 6 of the 7 preview comics are in the Funny Pages Facebook page. We did a Funny Pages game Facebook page for previews and stuff like that that are over there for sure.
Are those actually going to be in the real games, or they're just preview?
Yes and no. So I think this is a fine time to talk about this. We haven't really announced it yet, so a little bit of a scoop. We've mentioned it. There's 7 preview comics that are not part of the game. Like, you do not play these in terms of solving the game itself. That's its own set of 28. And these 7, we went to all the work of having them illustrated just the same as the others. They are gorgeous. They are funny. They're really nice pieces. And some people were asking as we dropped out these previews, can we have these? I want to hang these up on my wall. Some of these are really funny. So I believe we are going to offer a little, I don't want to call it an expansion pack, but a supplement pack on the Kickstarter. So for a pretty low rate, as close to cost as I think we can get, you can get prints of these. They're not part of the game, but you can have them for your collection.
Oh, okay. That's nice.
Yeah.
People always like to collect these things. And did you say that it was a pen? I'm just asking for people.
Why are you starting stuff? She's indicating the whole pen thing.
I feel like he mentioned this somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well,
so we changed the vowel, and there's going to be a pen. So we didn't decide. We thought about doing a pen, and it just didn't materialize. We batted around the idea for Series 2 of the postcards. We batted around for this, and largely from a production, manufacturing standpoint, it was a little bit of a logistical nightmare to get that produced. The factory that is making the game would not be producing that themselves. It didn't work out this time around, but there's going to be a lovely Funny Pages pen, so it's not all bad.
Yeah, I was just asking for a friend.
Yeah.
I think I have the same friend.
Yeah. So other than the things mentioned here, is there anything else that's in the works that we don't know about? Trying to dig out as much information as possible for our audience.
Kiara?
I am really good at coming up with ideas. I am less good at actually following through on said ideas. So I have a whole bunch of great ideas for different stuff. One of the ones that I am most interested in potentially pursuing sometime here soon would be like a modified version of Aesop's Fables retold to enhance and add a bunch of puzzles and ciphers and stuff, and have it really nicely illustrated. Something that is really easy to play with a wide age range of people. So, if you've got kids, that'd be good for them, but something that's in-depth enough that adults would like it just for themselves too. Yeah. Something that is fun and family-friendly and comes in book format. Yes.
And one that's near and dear to my heart that we were kind of moving forwards on in 2020, again, when the floor dropped out from under us, but I wouldn't mind revisiting at some point, is a big departure. It would actually be a mechanical puzzle. I love mechanical puzzles. I have designs for a few, and we've talked about slotting that into our lineup at some point. A nice metal mechanical puzzle.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Like a box, kind of?
Kind of, yeah, kind of.
Okay.
That's always interesting.
We love mechanical puzzles and being able to touch
move
stuff.
Things, for sure.
Reconstruct stuff.
So I guess last question is the Funny Pages. When are you anticipating the shipping of that?
So we're taking our time with it because things have changed around so much. We're very hesitant. You won't get an exact date out of us because we don't even have one. We're playing it by ear. We're about to send the files to the printer for our pre-press copies. So we're going to send those out. We're going to get those back. We're going to check them for things we want to change while sending those out to reviewers and stuff like that. Once those changes are made, provided we don't want to do a second batch, if the changes are minimal, at that point, we'll probably lock in the Kickstarter. We're hoping before summer.
Oh, okay.
So ideally no later than May, but again, things could change. We've seen that forever. Things always change. So ideally before May for the Kickstarter, and then ideally before the end of the year for actually shipping it out to people.
As long as people have it for like the holidays, I think
that's always the goal. Yeah. That's always what we shoot for.
Yeah.
It doesn't always materialize, but we try.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. All right, so normally we ask you guys about your own games, but we're going to change the format of it today on the Think or Drink segment. And the audience can help as well and play along because it's more trivia versus specific information.
Right? So
Yeah.
we're about to play our game, which is
Think or drink.
Think or Drink. All right, let's start with Kiara. What do you have to drink today, Kiara?
I am having a coffee with some salted Irish cream. It is.
Ooh, I think you need something to keep the energy up to keep
Where
putting
is
out
that?
these
How
puzzles.
big is the mug, though?
It's not huge.
Oh,
Aw, look at that.
love
And
it.
Logan, what do you have by your side?
So, as I mentioned, I am moving, so I had a lovely bottle of hard cider in the fridge all ready to go.
Okay.
And then I realized that all the bottle openers have already made their way over to the new house. So, I am drinking the most adult of adult beverages, a Diet Dr. Pepper.
Diet.
Diet
That's the
Dr.
key
Pepper
word.
has some good stuff.
Diet.
There's also the tea.
The old...
You should use that to crack open a bottle. We got some strong
Not
jaws
in
there.
these ages. Nope.
I'll pass on that one.
All right, so today I'm drinking. Well, I have to clear the fridge out. She won't let me buy any more drinks, so I have to finish them all. But this one's actually a really good one. It is Nagori Coconut Premium Nagori Kizakura Sake. So
Ooh.
I did promise Anuj that I will dedicate my first shot to him and the Enigma Fellowship.
Yeah,
I like the bottle it comes in. It looks like a little mana potion or something.
it's very pretty. That's how we. That's why we bought it.
Yeah, for the bottle.
I say your hit points are going up and your dexterity is going down.
So Anuj, this is to you. Thank you for
Cheers.
typing in the secret phrase first, which is "I want my prize." Well, did I just give it away?
Yeah. Okay.
Like they can't just see what he typed and then
No.
copy and paste. Cheers.
All right.
Still good.
Okay.
All right. So the way we play is we ask our guests questions, and they have 10 seconds from after we ask to answer. And like she said, the audience can help because it is more trivia based. Here we go. Getting the time ready. All right. Here we go.
Our first
number
question is: what country was the one that the Enigma cipher was used, and where was it used?
Britain.
Mhm.
World War II.
Yes. It's like who's the Google?
Yeah, I'm like, okay. Well, she did say I have a little bit more than 10% of remembering.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, they're
so-
all not gonna be this easy. Just
No, they're not.
Okay.
And by the way, if you have separate answers, you guys can decide, or you can actually pick one, and then whoever's wrong has to drink.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Second question for you is: what's another name for the Pigpen cipher?
Oh. Would it be the Rosicrucian cipher?
Is that your final answer?
It's a Freemason cipher.
Oh, Kiara. So
It's like I Google way too much.
Logan, you and I are drinking.
I live in
'cause she got it
Wikipedia.
right. So, cheers. Remember, don't drink all that Diet Dr. Pepper in one shot. You might.
Oh, I won't. I'm driving tonight. It's,
Okay, I'm gonna start pointing because they're killing it right now. That's 2 for 2 for Kiara. So,
Sure.
all right. It's nap time right after this, anyways. Okay, so question number 3 is
All right. Can you help me pronounce this? Is this Scytale?
Scytale or
Okay.
Skytail?
Scytale. What is a Scytale, and when was it invented?
yes, so that is a cipher where you wrap a fabric or a leather around a pole to line up a message, and I believe it originated in Roman times. It's the earliest
Greece
usage
or
I
Rome,
know.
one of the two.
Yeah. I mean, Rome stole everything from Greece anyway, so...
You know,
That's pretty
great
close.
job.
Yeah.
All right.
120 AD is the year.
Okay.
Yeah, but the way
Okay,
you
so
described it was
it's on the older side.
yeah. You described it so finesse that we have to give it to you because it's so accurate.
You're really enjoying that drink.
And also, I am enjoying it.
You're welcome then for getting them right.
Yeah. He's like, I'm definitely gonna
Like,
finish
the
that one
bottle's
soon.
almost done.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, question number 4 for you is: what are Sherlock's codes?
That's an interesting one.
Sherlock codes.
I don't know.
She's like, don't look at me this time.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna kick myself when I hear it, but
I am too.
We'll let you guess. Oh, he's already drinking.
No idea.
Okay.
Like,
Does anyone else know? If you just type it at some point.
there is it codes from Sherlock? Because I know the Dancing Men was one. Oh, okay. All right. I thought it was referring to something else, so I know that.
Or she came in with the dancers.
Yes.
That's pretty close.
Oh.
All right. So you have a credit of 1 drink, so you don't have to drink the next time you go to a bar. All right. Here we go. Question number 5 for you is.
What is a stenography?
Stenography?
Oh.
Yes.
It's a message hidden inside an image.
Give it up!
Okay,
All right.
maybe I should have done a little more Wikipedia search. Can't get these
She
guys.
was a little easy on you both. Normally it's. I'm just gonna finish the bottle.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Well, actually, the last one is not really our bonus. Is not even a question, really. It's more just.
Well, it is a question.
Yeah.
It is my question.
Here we go. What is the Dorabella cipher created by Edgar Elgar?
Edward Elgar.
Edward Elgar.
He's already gone by this point.
That is what I said.
I don't know.
I don't
But
know
I'm
this one
curious.
either, but yeah, now I want to know.
All right. Dorabella
Cat-
cipher.
Cat, help us out.
Characters made up of series of semicircles oriented in one of the 8 directions. That will be in your next game.
I'm gonna go look it up.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if my keyboard was not super loud, I would be looking that up right now to see what it looks like.
Or mute yourself. Alexa, what is...
You can't do that because everybody who's listening elapsed.
Oh my god. Yeah. Look what
Alexa,
happened.
stop.
This is what happens when he's like, he finished the bottle and then he's all like.
I do have one more fact, but I'm going to drink that after I ask them my question.
I really think you should move this game to the beginning of the show. It would make for a very different show.
It would be a very different show.
Then I would just have to push him off the screen because he'll be really.
So, question for you both, because you did mention that for the love of escape rooms is how you got into this business. So, obviously, you play escape rooms. What was the first escape room that you played, each of you? Do you remember what it was?
Yes, it was a little company called Escape MSP. So, here Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the Twin Cities. They've since branched out to like Escape Jacksonville and some other cities. I don't know where all they are. But I played a room of theirs called Mr. Dupree's Office, which was about as generic as it sounds.
Yeah.
And if I had not been doing research for, working at an escape room, I don't know if I would have played more. And thankfully, a lot of the ones I played from there on out were fantastic, but it was a poor one to start.
Yeah. And Khiara, was it the same one, or did you play a different one?
I am reasonably sure that the first room I played was actually doing training at the escape room we both worked at after I'd been hired, because we got all of the rooms built. I helped build some of those rooms, so it wasn't a super great first room experience, because I kind of knew what was going on. But I ran through one of the rooms there at Mission Manor, and I think I might have actually ended up playing my first room solo because there was no one else training that day, and I felt very, very lost. I have done many more rooms since then that were a lot more fun, but...
Okay. So something about escape rooms must have kept you, intrigued and continue to play other ones, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, once you play one, you're addicted. There's no other.
Once you play a good one, you're addicted.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
No, definitely.
Or once you fail, you're like, no, I need to succeed.
Yeah.
That's another one. All right, so thank you so much, guys, for coming on the show. For anyone who's missed the beginning of the show, Enigma Emporium has generally provided 10% discount MasterMinds in order to order any of their games on their website through the end of February. And the secret phrase to type in to win the raffle to the Series 2 games, Cycle of Learning, it's not that easy this time. So you have to decipher that, which I feel like some fellow puzzlers have already done so.
Yep.
So you can either scroll up to the comments, or if you want to cheat, or you do it yourself.
Or you can just go to the part where I just blabbed it out.
And then remember to watch the post-edited version of our interview, which will be available in a few days on our YouTube or IGTV. To find the secret letter or number, collect all 20 to enter to
We're
win.
almost there.
Yeah, I know. Epic Escapes 3 games in one box. There's going to be one in each episode from 30 to 50. Also, we added an extra episode this week, which will be aired tomorrow, as you have many requests to understand what the newest game show, Seize the Show, is all about. So we brought on the CEO to talk about the creation of the show and the gameatics part about that. So mark a calendar for tomorrow at 3 p.m. And then remember to give us a thumbs up on our YouTubes and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah.
So we'll see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
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 Good luck. Yeah, invasion. Yeah. Oh, let's go. Locked in, 60 minutes to escape. Think before you move, there's no room for mistakes. If you got what it takes, stop, watch, and listen. Cause the clock is ticking and the plot is sticking. No matter what.